Senate Program Committee on Niger Data Affairs. Chairman, Senate Committee on Niger Data Development, the co-chairman, who is of course the chairman of House Committee on Niger Data Development, distinguished members of the Senate, and distinguished members of the House of Representatives. Let me also recognize every other person here, including the press. Mr. Chairman, sir, permit me to inform you that the Ministry of Niger Data Development, by its mandate, is responsible for initiating and formulating policies, as well as the execution of development programs and projects in the region. The ministry is also mandated to draft critical infrastructural development projects and human capacity development by way of economic empowerment for the people of the region. In addition, we coordinate the activities of agencies and community development partners, assistance to states and local government, all aim at restoring peace in the Niger Delta region. But I only want to mention that the unfortunate thing is that so many activities that ought to have been domiciled in the Ministry of Niger Delta are being performed by other agencies. Ours is a Ministry of Niger Delta Development, expected to see the overall development. For instance, take example, today, amnesty program is not within the Ministry of Niger Delta, but we all know that at the time the amnesty program was established, it was a period of disarmament. But today, there's nothing like a disarmament program in the Niger Delta region. Everything that's going on there is about training and empowerment of youth. But we at the ministry, we receive the bulk of the problem. But those who have been assigned with the responsibility and the finance to do that, they don't. They are not accessible. Every day you come to our office, it's loaded with people, general this and general that. At the end of the day, the person who, of course, is doing the function is there. It's not receiving the program from that area. So that is one area I feel I have to mention here. There are quite a number of programs that are going on in Niger Delta, which ordinarily ought to have been within the Niger Delta Ministry, but they are not. For instance, the HAPREP today, the hydrocarbon pollution and remediation project is being handled by the Ministry of Environment. The Ministry of Niger Delta is just mentioned, but most of the people there, they keep complaining to us, this has not been done, this has not been done. But of course, we cannot say anything because we are not given the responsibility to do that. So in 2023, that's the budget performance of 2023. It's my privilege and honor to present before you the 2023 performance budget. A total of 14 billion 562 703 1,654 naira was the approved estimate for 2023, including the capital, the recurrent, and the overhead. And as you can see from the table, the total capital for the Ministry of Niger Delta Development, that is the one that was given, and including the constituency projects of members put together, was just 11 billion. I think what came by way of envelope was just in the neighborhood of 10.something billion. So that was the total amount of money that was budgeted for 2023 in terms of overhead, in terms of capital. Whereas for overhead, a total budget of 934,255,073 naira was the total overhead. And personnel, of course, you know, it's other IPPS, it doesn't even get to the ministry, was 1,679,277. Of this estimated amount, for instance, we have already gotten a release of 4,201,157,167 naira 67 kobo. Out of that 11 billion, that's the total amount that will be released in terms of capital to the ministry for the execution of both the ministry project and the domicile constituency projects. And that amount to about 37% of what was budgeted. And in terms of overhead, of the 934 million that was budgeted, only 622 has been released. And you know the year is already gone, and that amount to 88%. And of course, personnel, which of course is not within us, that one is almost 100% because it's 92%. I guess by the time they pay December salary, they would have completed everything. So generally, that is all about 2023. But this allocation in the sum of 14 billion, the major challenge there is that you and I know that it's very much meager, very much inadequate to meet with the requirements of the ministry. And in the face of the mandates and the goals of the ministry, you and I know that one is just a scratch. For instance, you say 4 billion release. How many kilometers of road will that one do? So that is the problem. That is the dilemma we face in the Ministry of Niger Delta Development. This grossly inadequate funding and duty budget allocation has led to a number of issues over the years. One, you have a number of abandoned projects here and there, uncompleted projects. As I'm talking to you now, the ministry already has, in terms of certificates, projects that have been certified, more than 5 billion that have not been paid for. Those that have been awarded and are abandoned here and there, they are well over 50 billion. So that is the situation, the challenge we have in the ministry. And the positive of all that may lead to such positive of funds, you and I know, can lead to the derailment of programs of engagement of both youth and women. That is the more reason, as I'm here now, I want to say that since I took over, I have gotten requests of not less than 2,000 persons across Niger Delta asking for one form of training or the other. But little did they know that for this year, there's not much you can say you are going to do about training, because training is going to be based on budget. You cannot say because you were training last year, 2 years, 3 years ago, that the training must be there if it's not accommodated in the budget and money is not released for such training. So that is the situation we find ourselves in the Ministry of Niger Delta Development. Well, with this positive effort too, it means that the training and the knowledge acquisition and economic empowerment that used to be one of the major activities of the ministry will be slowed down. And of course, it also will lead to poor performance and protracted delay in project delivery. And of course, we all know, like I said before, we have all signed a board with the president, and we have been assigned deliverables. You and I know that with these poor resources, it will be pretty difficult to achieve such deliverables. For me, I believe deliverables must be matched with the required resources. If you ask me that I should do this, I cannot scratch myself to do it. If I have the required resources, be rest assured that you will get what we want. That's why we are here. And as honorable members and distinguished members, the pulse of the nation is in your heart. I expect that you should also be able to assist the ministry to get more funds to execute its projects.
You are a very experienced person. You one of us, in addition to other things. Let me congratulate you on your appointment.
Thank you.
So long for the first time. See face to face. I believe others must have said it, but I think it's appropriate also on the effort. And I think I also eat alone. That it's appropriate to boost confidence in you. You're a very experienced person. So the Niger Delta Ministry is in good hands. And we also have all of us here, 2 chairmen, with the readiness to encourage and support you to succeed for the people of the Niger Delta and for the country. And I was quite worried when he referred to the budget performance of 2023. Yeah, just coming. So we have a very unenviable situation from what they say. So even from the appropriations of last year, what you said is that of the appropriated sum for capital, only the performance, budget performance that you have pointed at, 11.9 billion budgeted, and the releases, only 4.2.
Yes.
So what it means is that even for the projects for last year, you have this huge number of abandoned projects. That's what it means.
That's it.
So I was going to ask you, how do you manage? How do you hope to finish these ones of last year? I'm not talking of the ones for 2024. Because the picture you are painting is quite alarming. I still have the floor.
Senator, you have the floor.
The chairman and my colleagues, I move a motion that in view of what we have heard, what we have seen, and what we now know about the inadequate funding of the Ministry of Niger Delta for senators who were on the floor during the budget debate when again I raised that issue on the need to focus on proper funding of this ministry, bearing in mind that this was a ministry established to address challenges of development and carry out meaningful intervention programs in the Niger Delta. But that unfortunately, and particularly after listening to the Honorable Minister and what he has presented, which, with all due respect, is a far cry from the founding principles of that ministry, I hereby move, with your permission, that this budget consideration and the budget defense for the Ministry of Niger Delta be hereby stood down, and that an invitation or a summons be issued that the Honorable Minister of Niger Delta and his 2 counterparts, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and then the Honorable Minister of Budget and National Planning, should accompany him, and the 3 of them should interact with this joint committee to explain issues that have to do with the proper funding of this ministry, number 1. And secondly, also to address the issues of failure and delay, if not refusal, in making budgetary releases to the ministry, even for appropriated projects. For these 2 reasons, I move that we issue an invitation to the 3 of them, Mr. Chairman, to see us as soon as possible, as soon as Mr. Chairman and the committee may direct, to address these issues and to offer further clarifications before we continue further consideration of this budget. I so move.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, the co-chairman, the distinguished senator, the honorable members. My name is Honorable Mudashiru Lukman, representing the good people of Ayedire Iwo Federal Constituency and from Osun State. I hereby second the motion, ably moved by my senior colleague. I so second, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Motion has been seconded. Discussion. See none. Motion carried.